Hi everyone, happy Friday. I thought I would send out a quick screencast-o-matic today because I do have a few things that I wanted to share with the school. My first thought is that I really like the Red Deer College initiative of having people post their pets at home at work with them. I sent a picture of Wilson and me in, and I thought that was kind of fun. And I thought, maybe we should do the similar thing for the School of Health Sciences and send in some hair shots of people who really need a haircut, this girl, and how the hairstyles are looking. Maybe everyone can send in their best, and by best I mean worst, hair shots, and we could post those on Instagram. So anyway, I thought that might be a fun little initiative. I'll see if if Karina wants to pick that up and go with it. Anyway, I hope everybody's keeping well these days. Looks like we're going to have a great weekend finally, so I'm excited to get my weekend started. I have a few things I just wanted to talk about quickly today. First of all, just a reminder about access. The process we're following regarding getting people into the college when they need to get into the college has been working quite well. People are just sending emails to me, and Maylin is compiling them all for me, and we're sending the requests into security every day. That requires a little bit of planning on your part. So if you want to come in, please just send me an email and let me know. Preferably the day before, at least, so that we can give security a heads up. Now, understanding sometimes there are emergencies and you have to get in and you've forgotten about something, that's fine too. Just preface your email with that, and we'll just send it along to security. So the access situation, I think, is going quite well. We want to continue with that. The fall. So I still strongly believe we will be moving to online in the fall. The institution is really talking and moving in this direction, though it's not confirmed yet. It looks like this is where we're going. I know that the registrar's office is pitching to our leadership group sort of three options: a synchronous delivery, an asynchronous delivery, or a blended delivery, meaning like an online blended delivery. So synchronous meaning that we keep our time slot of the course where they've been scheduled, and students and instructor are meeting at the same time, same place. Asynchronous meaning there's no timelines put on the course. It's just delivered whenever the students and the instructor are available. And then a blended format is keeping one day scheduled and the other day or other days not scheduled. So like I said, registrar's office is pitching these scenarios to our senior leadership group. And the ADs, your associate dean and Angie are aware of the process and what needs to happen there. So you can connect with them if you have questions about that. Just thinking again, and I know I touched base on this in our school council meeting and I think in other videos, but thinking about your spring PD, I'm really wanting people to think about doing something with their PD around online teaching. This might be something around assessment, or, depending on where you're at. It could look very differently. Again, I also talked about programs trying to get some uniformity in their Blackboard courses. So using that CTL template that I know the PN program is successfully implemented. So really thinking about how to get your program courses all nicely unified to make it easier for your students. Again, I really encourage you to work with your chairs, talk with each other, talk with your associate deans to come up with some really creative solutions for next fall. Faculty performance packages. So I know that Maylin sent out the email today around the whole process around submitting your faculty performance package. And part of that is that year-end report that you write. And I also know SFIs are released. If they haven't been released already, they're released today. And I just want a little note about the SFIs. I would predict that the SFIs are going to come in a little bit harsh this year, for lack of a better word, because students are not going to be happy because of the shift of their teaching environment rather abruptly 2/3 of the way through their term. So that's going to be reflected in your SFIs. There's no question about that. Just remember to keep that in mind as you're reading through them. There's obviously you did not have control of a lot of what the students were experiencing. Try and drill down on the stuff that you can actually use and try to improve your teaching for next year. I think it's also important to notice how students felt in terms of the communication, right? Did they feel that they understood what was next? Did they feel that there was good communication, not only from you as the instructor, they may have made comments about the program or the school. So if you had got any of that kind of feedback, I think it would be really useful for you to share with your chairs or your associate dean, and then ultimately me, so we can talk about that stuff. So yeah, just be really aware with your SFIs when they come out, and don't be too hard on yourself, because I know sometimes students can be mean. You're self-reflective. So just some comments on writing self-reflective reports. I fully appreciate writing reflectively is a bit of an art, and it comes more naturally to some of us than others. You know, as you take in all the information that you received, whether you're a part-time, a sessional, or a full-time person, you're getting different information from different people. Really take a look at, you know, obviously the things that you did really well, and the places that you've contributed across the institution and the community. But also take time to look at where you think you could be better, right? Nobody expects perfection when you're writing these reports. I think it's important to see growth, whether you're seasoned or not. It's always important to reflect on what went well, what didn't go so well, what you might try and do next year that's different. Just because you didn't succeed at something doesn't mean it's a fail. It's a fail when you don't take that information and grow from it. And we can all grow from our mistakes, me included. So try and think about that when you're writing your self-reflective. Some people who struggle with writing reflectively will just kind of create a list. These are all of the things that I did this year with my teaching. These are all the things that I did with my PD. These are all the things that I did with community. That's okay, but it's not overly reflective. Think about what went well, what didn't go well, and what you might do differently or what you might continue. Try to think about writing that way. I know sometimes associate deans get self-reflectives from people, particularly those who've never written them before, and they're asked to redo them just because they're thinking we're looking for a specific list of things. So just a heads up on that. Try and think about writing reflectively is the best that you can. The last thing I want to let you know about is, because you may hear about it because it's kind of moving quite quickly, is an initiative that I've started and I've proposed with Paulette Hanna. I've taken it to Dean's Council and have received approval to move forward with a new initiative, a new program that I would like to see offered through continuing education. And it's born out of my own, I guess, concerns around my own kid next year being in grade 12 this year and going off to university, and thinking about the decisions that I as a parent have to make about her moving away to another city far away, and the chances of her learning in an online environment, and whether she's going to go or not, whether she's going to go or she's going to stay here, do some online courses, those kinds of things. So I started thinking about all of the students who live, whoever are coming to Red Deer College, wherever they live, coming here, and also wondering the same thing. Are they going to actually come here, or are they just going to learn online and stay where they're at? And then we probably have students right here in Red Deer who are thinking the same thing. Online delivery is not typically appealing for first year right out of high school students. They usually want to come to college or university for the experience, and by going online, they may not necessarily get the same experience. So it's made me think about, if these kids end up staying home, what could they do? What could they be doing to prepare them? And so I've proposed what I'm calling a gap year program. And my gap, as you all know, is kind of a British term, I think, where students take a year off and they travel, and they don't necessarily head to university right away or to college right away. And so I'm thinking about this more of a gap, meaning going away prepared year, and thinking about creating a number of modules that would really help a student prepare for wherever they're going, whether they're coming to Red Deer College or whether they're going away to school. So, I mean, it's brand new, but I've gotten a lot of support to move forward with it. And of course, in continuing education, these kinds of programs can get up and running really quickly. So I've already put together a little task group, and we're going to meet next week and talk about what these modules might look like. And so just to give you some context, some of the modules I'm thinking about are like one around finances, managing your own finances, researching the institution that the student might be going to. So whether they're coming to Red Deer or are they going to UBC or McGill or wherever that is, learning about the institution that they're going to, learning about the community that they're going to move into, or the city or the town or whatever that is, finding out the different kinds of resources that are available for them there, learning to navigate the post-secondary system, learning how to add or drop a course, how do I find an academic advisor, where is the health office, those kinds of things, learning how to communicate outside of using social media, so how to send an appropriate email, those kinds of things. So lots of ideas, and I'm wanting to let you guys know about this because I feel like there's probably many of you who are in the same situation with your own children, or you may have children coming up. So we're really thinking about targeting this year's grads, but this doesn't mean that it's not appropriate or it won't be appropriate for any students anytime, any year who are just not sure about heading off to post-secondary and wanting to take some time to learn about how to be successful in post-secondary. So I've asked Mei Lin to put together a Google document, which I'm asking her to share with the school. And I'm looking for any ideas that people might have. So, it's not that I don't have ideas. So I'm not asking for every single person. If you've got some thoughts, write them down. But I'm thinking some of you have had kids who have just gone away to school, or maybe it's been a while, and you know of some of the things, the skills that they were lacking, and perhaps you or your kid wasn't successful, or maybe they were. But what were those skills that they were lacking, or they actually had because of a certain situation? What were those things that prevented them from being successful, or helped them to be successful? So I'm curious to learn about those things, and I'd like to start to collect that information on a Google Doc so that when our task group gets together, we'll have all of our own ideas, but I want to hear from our people just to see if you have any new or unique ideas. So that'll come up probably early next week from Mei Lin, and if you've got any thoughts on that, if you've been through this, I'd love to hear about it. So anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted, again, to refresh you on a few things, talk a bit about the faculty performance process, and then talk about this new initiative that you may be hearing about coming forward. And again, shoot me an email if you have any ideas or concerns. Always around. Have a great weekend, and let's get those hair pictures going. Would love to see them. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you soon.